Welcome all to the Weekly Outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. First of all, I'd just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas for all those that celebrate Christmas. And wishing everyone a Happy New Year. Before I get into the Weekly Outlook, I'd just like to remind you all that in the new year, the price of the course is going from $1,000 USD to $1,500 USD. That'll be starting from the 1st of January 2023. So just a heads up that if you want to join the course, get in before the end of the year to get those cheaper prices. So starting with the DXY on the daily, we've got that WX extended wave Y. We've got this WXY. I'm looking for an X2 in here and a Z down. We've got this bull hidden here. Actually, that's been broken now, but we're still looking for another one up for wave Z after this correction in here is over. On the H4, you can see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an ABC. Looking for an A, B. We're still looking for this wave C up. So any buy setup you get, look for that buy, and we'll be targeting that 100 fib. If I just remove that. So on the H1, really, it's not looking that great. We got some sort of an A, B. If we get a C down here, break at the top, you could put a buy stop just above there, and you're targeting that 100 fib. However you enter, you may get a little flag down here if this turns into a little flat there. On the AU, on the daily, so nothing's really changed. We've got that WXY. We're looking for an X2 and a Z down. We have that bear hidden. So same as last week, we're looking for downside. Last week on the H4, we were looking for this up here, wave Z. So we got this WXY, X2, and a wave Z up to that 123.6. It didn't get up to the 161.8, the second target. Excuse me. But we've got this trend line break, and we're getting consolidation down here. So we're looking for, another one down. We're looking for that larger wave Z down. Yes, Z down on the daily. So if we go down to the H1, you can see you can only sell this, and you can only buy it above that top. So we're looking for some sort of a correction in here, whatever sort of correction it gives, and then we'll be looking for a sell. EU on the daily. So we've got that WX extended wave Y. We're looking for an X2 and then a Z down. We still do have this bear hidden here, like I've mentioned many times before. On the H4, it's not really playing the game, and this correction here has become larger than this one. I was looking for a WXY, A, B, C, and then for the X2 and then a Z up. This is becoming too large of a correction now. So we may just get a WXY, A, B, C, and then another one breaking the top. Or this may be the end and we fall over. So really any sell setup we get, we want to take. It's not giving us any nice sell setup, so that's the problem at this stage. On the H1 we got WX, Y, X2, and we got that Z up. We have the bearish divergence. It's not as nice as AU. We didn't get the trend line break and the consolidation. This one's a little bit more tricky, but any sort of sell setup you get, I'd be looking for the sell for some sort of an A, B, C in here. And then if you get some sort of a sell setup on the lower time frames, you could look for A, B, C. Back to the 100 fib, I'd be sort of taking half off there, and then assessing, monitoring the trade. You may get more downside. This, like I said, that may be the top. GU on the daily. So we got that WXY, X2, and we still may get this wave Z down. We do have a higher high here, so we've lost that bear hidden. So at minimum, I'm just looking for a 50 fib retrace before we get more upside. A, B, C, or this may go and break that low. So on the H4, we got that A, B, C up. We got that A, B, C. Went just above that 100 fib. But we're getting all this bearish divergence. There's a couple scenarios here still. Even though we have all this bearish divergence, this may be an A, B, C in here as a running or expanding flat, and we get another one up. I definitely can't rule that out at this stage. To invalidate that, this possible flat here, we really need to go and break that low. So I'm really hoping we get a impulse down on the H4, giving us that lower low, and then we'll be looking for a correction and then downside back to this, at least back to this 50 fib. On the H1, sort of it's still a possible running flat, and we have it's a very messy correction. Sort of, I'll be looking for some sort of A, B, C up in here, and then any sell setup that you get, I'll be looking for the sell. This may take quite some time, to give us a correction for downside. For the upside, for this flat, we really need a nice sharp impulse up and a nice buy setup flag to buy, and then go and break that top. I'm more interested in the sell. We got all that bearish divergence on the H4, so I'm more interested in, if I get something like this, I'll probably leave it and I'll wait for that high to be broken, and then a sell set up to sell. NU on the daily. So this gave that A, B, C, and we've got a nice impulse up. We've got a higher high. So we're looking for a 50 fib retrace on the daily, but we don't know if this is over yet. On the H4, it may not be over. So on the H4, we're still looking for that X2. This may be A, B, and we get a C in here. We're looking for a correction of similar size to this here, though. So this may become quite complex, but I'm really only looking for sells. This is going to be hard to trade that wave Z up until we get a nice correction. If we get a nice correction, well, then yeah, I could trade that Z up. But really, you know, like most of the other pairs, I'm really only interested in the sell. UY on the daily. So this one, we had that extended wave Y. We got WX extended wave Y. We're getting X2, and we'll be looking for a Z up. Here we do have that bull hidden. So we need to see if this is finished in here. On the H4, we got that WXY, X2, and the Z down. We got the bullish divergence, so that was nice. I was hoping for a nice impulse here, correction or flag, and then go up and break the top for the wave Z. But instead, we've got a correction down in here. So we're getting a larger correction. So we still may get another one down in here, finishing off this wave C. This is going to be quite tricky. Yeah, if I go down to the H1, and it's still looking bullish. We got that like A, B, C in the B wave, and then we got that A, B, C in the B wave there, and then we got that A, B, C. The problem is, you know, I don't really want to go short on this. It's a little bit risky. I am looking for that to go and break the low. But on the daily, we are getting to an end. So it becomes risky to sell at lows. If you get a nice bearish setup in here, well, yeah, you could look for the sell just to go and break the low. It's more of a scalp. If this does play out and we get a lower low, I'll be looking for the buy. I'll be more interested in the buy. But you definitely can, if you get a nice bearish flag, you definitely can look for that sell. The Swissy on the daily. So we've got that WXY, looking at X2, and we're looking for that Z up. On the H4, still looking for this A, B, C in here for a running or expanding flat, and then we get an A, B, C to finish off that X2 on the daily, and then we can start to look for the buy. We can actually look for the buy now, just up to this 100 fib, just as a scalp. We sort of got this on the H1. We got that WXY, X2, Z down with all the bullish divergence. Unfortunately, again, it's been very messy. It's been quite difficult to get in. This is very choppy. You know, it's so choppy. It's made it very hard to get in. But if you get any buy set up, I'll be looking for the buy. So Monday and Tuesday, you may get a little correction in here. If you do, and a buy set up, look for that buy up to at least 100 fib. Well, I'll be taking half off at the 100 fib, and maybe this is the low. We don't know. UCAD on the daily. So this has got that extended wave in it as well. We're looking at that WX. We're looking for a wave Y. In the wave Y, we got a WXY, X2, and we're looking for that Z up. We do have the bull hidden here. So I am looking for this to go and break that top, like I've mentioned last week. On the H4, this has turned as a larger correction. This is very this is very difficult to trade as well. Hasn't been easy. We got that WXY. I was looking for an X2 and a Z down. Instead, it's extended, gave us a larger correction. And this does look corrective. That's why it makes it very difficult to buy for this wave Z up. Because it doesn't look impulsive. We got this large flat in here. Really, because this is so choppy, you know, it's very difficult to buy. It's looking more corrective, but again, you know, it's very risky. But on the H1, you know, extremely risky. We're getting all this bearish divergence here, you know. But if you get a buy set up, little flag, you could test the buy, but yeah, pretty risky. GY on the daily. So we got those 5 up. Then we got some sort of an A, B, C as an expanding flat, or a regular flat. And then we went up and broke that top. So once we went up and broke that top, I was just looking for a correction before we get more upside. We're looking for that 50 pip retrace. On the H4, I was sort of looking for an A, B, C. Instead, we got this. And at the time when we were getting this, I said, this is looking very corrective. And then we got that move down. We got a trend line break in here and a bullish setup, but that one didn't go either. So this is becoming very difficult to trade. On the H1, this is can turn into so many different structures here, because this may be an A, B, C in here, and then we get an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat here, and then we get an A, B, C. This is very choppy, you know. Excuse me. So this is going to be very difficult to trade. You really only can sell it. You know, if you get a bearish flag in here, you could look for the sell. But again, very risky. You really be only targeting that trend line, so you're not getting the risk reward. I would just stay out of this for at this time. EG on the daily. So if I just go in here to this last piece here. So we got that like A, B, C. Now we've got a nice impulse up. So we may get a chance to buy this. On the H4, you can see what I'm looking at. You get a W, X, Y, X2, and then we'll be looking for that Z up. If you get any, if I just go down to the H1, you can see that we're in an X2 in here, most likely. Wait for that X2, and then you could scalp that wave Z up, and then you'll be looking for a retrace, larger retrace, similar size to this in here, and then you'll be looking for that wave Z up. Gold on the daily. So on the weekly, this is the time factor here for that X2. So this is looking rather impulsive now. We did have that large, like very deep correction in here for that X. So we got that WXY. I'm looking for an A, B, C, and then a wave Z up. But this here is becoming too large. That is the problem. We're getting all this bearish divergence. So it really becomes very difficult to buy this until we get that X2. And we're running out of the time factor. The time factor's this is becoming too large. This does look like a flat in here. So we get some sort of an A, B, C in a running or expanding flat, a running flat. So if you do get a buy set up in here, you could look for the buy. It's very dangerous though. It's not something I'd trade, but yeah. WTI. So we're looking at that WXY. We're looking at an A, B, C in the X2, and then I'll be looking for that Z down on the H4. There's two scenarios in this one as well. We get an A, B, and a C down. We can either look. This is looking still like a possible flat in here. So this may go down and break the low. It sort of bounced off the trend line there. So we may get another lower low here. If we do, I'll be looking for the buy setup. You know, any buy setup, I'll be looking for the buy. If we go down to the H1, you can sort of see what I'm looking at. This was very choppy in here, and we had a bear hidden. So we had that bear hidden. So sort of expecting this. If you get a bearish setup in here, you could look for the sell to go and break the low. We are getting to lows, so you know, it becomes quite risky. But you definitely could, if you get a nice setup there, you could look for that sell. And then I'll be looking for the buy. Any buy setup, then I'll be looking for the buy. Bitcoin on the daily. So this one here, we've got that A, B, C, and it's sort of just keep on crawling down. We're getting all this bullish divergence in here. I was looking at this as the end, and we get a reversal, you know, some sort of a buy setup to go and break the top. But we got this very choppy wave in here, like I mentioned at the time. You know, this is looking very bearish. We're looking for sells. Went down, broke the low. It's given another sell in here. This is looking very bearish still. So I'm still expecting a little bit more downside, but eventually this will pop out, give us a nice buy setup, and we can buy. On the H4, you can see what I was looking at last week. So the last couple of weeks, we were looking to buy that, and we did. It gave another correction there, went up, another correction. It finally got to that 100 fib for that A, B, and we're looking for that C, and then we're looking for downside. So we've got that trend line break now. You can only sell this on the H1. Right? We got a lower low here. So, you know, any correction you may get a 50 fib retrace. This may take, you know, all of next week to get that correction, and then we'll be looking for the sell. S&P 500 on the daily. So we got that WXY, X2, and the Z down. We did have that bullish divergence. This is looking quite choppy, you know. Excuse me. So on the H4, it played out like we were looking at. You know, we did get that Z up. Looking at W, X, Y, X to Z up. It went up to the first target, 123.6. Now it's fallen over. So again, we're really looking for a nice correction and then more downside. So we're looking for a correction in here. Some sort of a correction. And like I said, that may take all next week before we get a sell set up to sell. You can only sell this. Unless that top gets broken there, you know, you can only sell this at this stage. AU 200 on the daily. So we got that W very deep, X2 wave Y, sorry, X1 wave Y, X2 and the Z down. We have that higher high. So I'm looking for a 50 fib retrace. I want to retrace in here, nice correction, and then we get an A, B, C, or it may even turn motive. We don't know, but we'll just be projecting for a wave C. On the H4, yeah, we had all this bearish divergence for a very long time. On the H1, it's not giving a nice setup. That's a problem. We've missed the setup. It's not giving very nice corrections to sell, which is a problem. So what I'd be looking for is some sort of like an A, B, C in here as a running or expanding flat. And then if I've got a sell set up, I'd be looking for the sell for the A, B, and looking for that C down. Looking at the DAX on the daily. So we got that A, B, C. It went just past that 100 fib. We were forecasting to get to that 100 fib. It got there. So now we're looking for that larger A, B, C. So we're looking for downside on the daily. We got a nice impulse down. Again, like many of the other pairs, look for the correction and then look for the sell. It should be a nice sell down once we get this correction. Well, the FTSE on the daily. So this one's bounced clean off the 100 fib. So we got that A, B, C, bounced clean off that 100 fib, and we're getting a nice impulse down. You know, any sell setup that you get, it's very tricky. It looks like if we just go down to the H1, it looks like you're getting some sort of a W, X, Y, and you get an A, B, C in here as a running flat. So yeah, any sell setup you get, I'd be looking for the sell. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Enjoy your Christmas break if you celebrate Christmas, and enjoy your New Year's, and I'll see you in the new year. Take care.